Well, World War III could be coming at any moment. U.S. forces on full combat alert as we speak. Retired advisor to NATO three-star general says this, update, U.S. forces now are on combat alert. B-52 bombers are at Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota during war games today, had a hot mic constantly transmitting on HF and talking about transferring fuel between tanks and the fuel systems currently being used in an alert setting as if they're going into nuclear war. Russian, Iranian warships conducting naval drills right now. Russian and Iranian warships conducting naval drills right now. And some of the drills that they're planning and working on are if they are on fire. If they are attacked and on fire, how would Russia respond to Iranian ships being caught on fire? Really? So Russia in these drills would come to the aid of Iran. Yes, war games playing out right now in the Indian Ocean as we speak. And a few minutes ago, sources in Iran telling all Iranian news agencies to sound the alarm and get on full combat alert. Now, Netanyahu says we will strike Iran's nuclear facilities. Iran then just issued an alert in response saying if they attack our nuclear facilities, we will destroy Israel's nuclear arsenal and facilities immediately. No, nuclear war, back and forth. We're going to hit your nuclear facilities. You hit our nuclear facilities. And doesn't seem like anyone's trying to stop this. Oh, don't worry, though. They're sending friend of Israel, Anthony Blinken, to the region to try to ease concerns about this. They are actively trying to drag us into World War III. China, Iran, and Russia, they're trying to attack us all. They're trying to set us up to go to war with all of them all at once. This is the only way, of course, the deep state can retain power right now. I mean, this is the way that I see it. Right before an election, 14 days before an election, Israel announces through these leaked documents that, oh, by the way, yes, we're about to attack. We're going to carry out this massive attack right before the U.S. election.
And oh, by the way, we have nukes, which you've always known about, but pretended not to know about. But now you know about it. And now the world knows you know about it.
Right. So in these documents, exactly that, oh, we have nuclear weapons, that Israel has nuclear weapons. Whoops. We've known about that since the 1960s, but Israel has been lying to the world, telling us, no, we don't have nuclear weapons. And if you speak out about it, you go to prison, by the way. If you spill the beans on that, you go to prison. We're watching right now, I think, the largest confluence of crises in world history all happening at once. And the last time, by the way, that this sort of confluence of crises all happening at once happened was right before World War II. And the timing couldn't be more ominous, 14 days before the election. I think we're about to be dragged into this world war. And I think the Pentagon right now, again, why I think they're half freaking out and half excited about it. The half that's upset about it and I think freaking out about it leaked these documents to the press. And now the U.S. is probing where this intelligence leak came from, that we learn about these documents showing that Israel is about to attack Iran, down to detailed plans about how exactly they're going to do that. And oh, by the way, the Israeli news media just about an hour ago or so confirmed, yes, the United States did know about this. That the leaked documents show U.S. intelligence on Israel's plan to attack Iran. The Israeli media saying that the White House, that the U.S. government did in fact leak this to the press. Of course they did. Of course the Pentagon leaked this.
They're like, we gave them to you. We told you. We of course we leaked this. You, for 1 second, think it's like an Edward Snowden noble hacker. No, they leaked this to the press on purpose. Now you have to ask yourself why. And the White House confirmed it, because the White House would have denied it almost immediately that these are fake. This is Russian propaganda. This is a fake hoax, whatever. But the Biden administration and President Biden said he's deeply troubled by all of this. Mm-hmm. He's deeply troubled by this leak. And they didn't deny it at all. And the Israeli media confirming it. So this is factual. These are factual documents. Do you think that he's troubled by the leak or the content of said leak? Because I'm more troubled by the content, to be honest, that we're literally watching them prepare for nuclear warfare with Iran. And we're like, okay, cool. We didn't want to know about that. We needed to pretend that we needed plausible deniability. So what do you think? The content?
I mean, I think it's a charade, because they knew what's in the documents and they're not concerned about the leak. Biden's out to lunch anyway, so who's really running the White House?
Right.
This was part of a plan. They leaked this to the media on purpose. They leaked it to an Iranian-backed Telegram channel that then pushes it out. Now it's all over the media. It was all over the Sunday talk shows. And what, by the way, did the documents actually say?
But for what purpose? To get us to stand up and say, hey, we don't want this. Just let's stop. Let's not do that.
Well, let's throw this out to the audience. What do you guys think? Why would they? I have my own theories about this, but I don't want to put the cart before the horse here. And I don't want to lead, how many metaphors can I mix here? I don't want to lead the witness. But why would the Biden administration leak these documents, or someone at the Pentagon as part of the Biden administration leak these documents? And President Biden and Kamala Harris can, have plausible deniability, like they don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. So we weren't involved in the leak. We don't know. Somebody at the Pentagon is worried that we are on the precipice of World War III. Maybe it's somebody at the Pentagon who's saying, by leaking these documents, we can actually stop this attack.
Right, because again, the leak's not the story. It's happening. The media is pretending that the leak is the big story. It's not. It's kind of what's being leaked that's more concerning.
Yeah. And so what was in the leak? The documents marked top secret and non-foreign, which means they cannot be shared with foreign allies. They were first shared on this pro-Iranian Telegram channel. One document was dated October 14th through the 16th. Was produced by the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, the NGA, and details Israel's military preparations, including advanced munitions transfers and drone activity. And by the way, it also shows United States massive transport aircraft landing, taking off inside of Israel. So the United States is deeply involved in this. We just stationed 100 new Americans there as well to handle these preparations.
Wait. So we're supposed to believe that we had never seen this before, our own intelligence committee, but they had been planning for us to be involved in it. So they just kind of threw us in, like, hopefully grandma makes the mashed potatoes. That's part of the plan.
Yes.
But we haven't told grandma yet.
Right.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
And listen to how Speaker Mike Johnson was asked about this. He doesn't seem to have a problem with this at all. He seems fully involved on the other side of the Pentagon's piece of this, which is, let's go to war with Iran. Like, that sounds like a good idea for America right now, to drag us into a war. Watch.
The U.S. is right now investigating a leak of highly classified intelligence documents posted online that appear to show Israeli plans for a retaliatory strike against Iran. What's the latest on the investigation into this leak, and what did your conversation with Netanyahu go like? How did that go?
Yeah, the leak is very concerning. There's some serious allegations being made there, investigation underway, and I'll get a briefing on that in a couple of hours. There's a classified level briefing and then other, but we're following it closely. Look, I talked to my friend Bibi, Prime Minister Netanyahu, yesterday to encourage him. I mean, he's done an extraordinary job, I think, prosecuting that war, and if he had taken Joe Biden's advice, they'd be in a much weaker position right now. I think that the United States needs to stand unequivocally by our ally there right now. There is really, we're on a precipice, I think, Jake, of a new era of security and freedom for Israel. And I think we're very close, I hope, I pray, to ending that conflict there. But we cannot equivocate. We can't appease Iran. Now is the time for a maximum pressure campaign against the head of the snake. It's not Hezbollah and Hamas and the proxies that are ultimately the threat. It is Iran itself.
Okay.
Okay.
My friend Bibi. I called my friend Bibi.
Well, we're close to ending this war, he says. Okay.
Yeah, how exactly?
Why? Because there's a ground invasion in Lebanon. More death than ever in Gaza.
Even beyond that. Literally just about an hour.
Yemen.
Literally just an hour ago, Israel announced that, by the way, we discovered that underneath a hospital in southern Lebanon, there's massive infrastructure, and that's where they've been holding gold and cash. So we're about to bomb about to bomb a hospital complex. Mm-hmm. So we're really pulling back on this whole war thing.
He really thinks it's winding down now. It's the tail end, like scene 3 in a movie.
It's like when I tell you, like, honey,
Act 3.
It's like when I tell you, like, you're like, honey, come to bed. And I'm like, I will. I just got a little bit more work to do.
Yeah.
And then it's like 2 hours later.
Right.
Or
we're not going to have any more chicken breasts for dinner, and then we have to keep going.
So anyway.
We just had an argument about that before the show.
So Axios reports that the leak appears to be an attempt to disrupt this operation. Okay, so that's Axios' position here. So this leak, do you guys buy that? They leak these documents because that's going to stop us from going into World War III. Remember, Russia and Iran, China, all three of them are partners. So you're going to bomb the shit out of Iran, and you think that Russia and China are going to sit by? Oh, and by the way, President Putin today is meeting with the head of the UAE about ditching the United States dollar for settling oil transactions, and ahead of the BRICS summit, of which Iran is a member, and Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. They're going to sit back and allow this to happen? That's why they're on high nuclear alert right now, and they're running war games exercises in the Indian Ocean, for crying out loud. Oh, and by the way, just over the weekend, you have Xi Jinping of China telling his troops to get ready for war with the West. Ready your troops, ready yourself for war. So, yeah, nothing to see here. 14 days before an election.
We got a super chat from Joel. Thank you so much. And we're going to address these later, who says that maybe it was to deter the attacks. The leak is maybe to deter it so that the international community, I'm extrapolating, can ring in and say, don't do this. We're not going to, this is not kosher. But it doesn't seem
that they're saying that. You just heard Speaker Johnson is like, yeah, let's do this.
He's not the international community, the rest of the world that doesn't want war.
Gotcha.
Right.
So here's I want to just put this quote up here from CNN. So the leak comes at an extremely sensitive moment in U.S.-Israeli relations and is bound to anger the Israelis, who have been prepping to strike Iran in response to Iran's missile barrage on October 1st. One of the documents also suggests something that Israel has always declined to confirm publicly, that the country has nuclear weapons. The document says the U.S. has not seen any indication that Israel plans to use a nuclear weapon against Iran.
Oh, no, not at all, really. I just remind you that they have a political prisoner right now, Mordecai Vanunu, who they imprisoned 3 times and will not let him leave for being a whistleblower about the nuclear programs. He literally cannot leave. No country will offer him asylum. They have a prisoner there. Cool. We didn't know that. That's, in the words of Phoebe from Friends, that is brand new information.
Dennis the Menace in the chat says, Clayton, in several years, your hair will be white. I think it's getting there already, like the stress of what's going on right now and sleepless nights right now. I mean, this is I think the most important moment in American history right now. And I don't say that lightly. The future of our country is at stake. You think about, well, what do you mean? Like the United States will cease to exist? No, the United States as a freedom-loving country, a democracy in a republic, however you want to phrase it, will cease to exist in the way that we appreciate it now. Total military control, martial law, control of our financial system by these globalists. Like, we are at a moment right now where, again, I've said I don't think the deep state will allow President Trump to become president of the United States once again. And so are we seeing this playing out? Is this the reason we're seeing this 14 days before the election? Mm-hmm. Is to try to somehow take control of our electorate in a way that gives them martial law powers over the United States? I don't know. But I do know that they're playing all sorts of fake news games right now. And so this was interesting over the weekend, that Iran had an earthquake, or is it a secret underground nuclear test? Now, 12 kilometers below the ground, they say a 4.4 magnitude earthquake shook Iran, and tremors were also felt in Tehran. And of course, the Western media is saying this was probably a nuclear test. Okay, now you'll recall about a week and a half ago here on the show, we had on a whistleblower who worked for Raytheon at the South Pole Station, at the earthquake center, where they actually can using directed energy, launch earthquakes around the world. And they've gotten so good at it, he described it as almost like using autopilot on an airplane. It's that good. So maybe this is another reason for them to say, oh, see, they had an earthquake, or it's because of a nuclear test. Mm-hmm. We need to swoop in right now. Israel better bomb them because they're so close to having nuclear weapons. Better wipe them off the face of the earth like Lindsey Graham wants. Take us all into the dark ages.
Okay.
And they started with this back in August, by the way. Exclusive from Reuters, which is a mouthpiece of the CIA, by the way. If you ever read Reuters or you read any of these hacks, the Associated Press, these are extensions of the intelligence state. That's all they are. That they're mouthpieces of the CIA. That's it. Reuters, exclusive. Iran to deliver hundreds of ballistic missiles to Russia soon, intel sources say. Oh, so hundreds of ballistic missiles are being sent to Russia. There's another reason for us to attack Iran and blow them up. And they'll spin it all over Fox News all day long about how Iran is Hamas, Iran is Hezbollah, so there's no daylight between them. And you know what? You as Americans should just want Americans to die in a bloody war, and you should want to attack them. That's what they want. That's all they want. And they want to spin these fake news stories to you. Well, it turns out our friends over at Moon of Alabama, which is one of the best websites out there, fake reports of missile transfers to Russia are used to sanction Iran. So again, as they point out, fake news reports have claimed, based on anonymous sources, that Iran has delivered ballistic missiles to Russia for use in the war in Ukraine. And he says, first, let's follow the trail. The first fake scare about Iranian missile transfer to Russia appeared in back on February. And Reuters back then was pushing this fake story. There's zero evidence that any missile transfer has happened. Iran strongly denies that that's happened. Ukraine has not reported the impact of any such missiles on its territory from Iranian missiles. And there's zero evidence at all that this has happened. Zero. But Reuters is telling us, and so therefore we better sanction Iran. And also we should probably bomb Iran too. Again, all of this happening is against the backdrop of BRICS, which is the BRICS summit unfolding. And so this morning we saw President Putin shaking hands with the United Arab Emirates delegation ahead of the summit to talk about basically ditching the United States dollar to settle oil transactions. This whole conference over the next few days is all about U.S. dollar hegemony and getting rid of the U.S. dollar to settle transactions. President Putin has found a way. Like, we sanctioned the shit out of him. We brought the war to Russia. All you need to do is read Benjamin Abelo's great book, How the West Brought War to Ukraine, and to understand exactly how we agitated this in order to expand NATO right up to their doorstep. And they found a way through the BRICS and this alternative currency backed by gold to basically give the massive middle finger. And this has all happened under the Biden administration's watch.
It's basically like they're defusing a bomb. You know, like they're getting rid of the weapon that we've used the most against them.
Right, the U.S. dollar. The cudgel of the U.S. dollar has been used for decades, since the Bretton Woods Agreement after World War II. And so now they have thrived under U.S. sanctions. They've built an alliance with China. They've gotten closer to China than ever before. Oh, by the way, they've gotten closer to Iran than ever before. And they're ditching the U.S. dollar. And it's all happening. And it's miraculous, the timing of all of this suddenly. Now they want us to go to war with Iran at the very moment that the U.S. dollar is about to be destroyed. It's very interesting, the timing of all of this. And, you know, as I mentioned, Xi Jinping telling troops to focus on prepping for war at the same time. And then, of course, Kamala Harris being yanked off the campaign trail right now, 14 days before the election. They're scaling back her campaign. So something very big is happening. And I think you're seeing this confluence of all these crises right now, which is adding up to an absolute disaster. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below.